Testing, testing. What kind of place did you grow up, Grandpa Cassie?
What kind of what?
Did you grow up on like a farm, or did you grow up in the city? Where'd you grow up?
Well, kind of in the country a little bit.
Did you guys have animals?
Oh yeah, we had animals.
What kind of animals?
Pigs, horse, cow.
How big a place was it?
It was only 4 acres.
Okay, and where was that? Was in Riverdale or
Wilder Grove, Wiley Grove, or whatever.
How long did y'all live there? From what age?
Let's see, 1927 till, I guess they moved down here in 43.
So you were 4 years old when you moved there?
Yeah, I was born in Virginia, Highlands, right across 14th Street Bridge.
Okay.
Did you have to help take care of the animals?
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
What to do? Clean the stable, made beds, gathered leaves for the beds.
Now, when did your dad die?
Huh?
When did your dad die?
In June 1950.
So they'd already moved to Virginia?
Oh yeah. They'd moved down in 43, so.
So when you went to service?
I was in the service center when they moved.
Did you go to, then you went to Riverdale School?
Riverdale Elementary School and Bladenburg High School.
Okay, and did you finish high school?
I went to 3 years.
That's right, and high school started at what grade?
It would be 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Okay, so they only went to 11th grade, huh?
Huh?
You went to 11th grade, or?
Yeah, 11th grade.
Okay.
What'd you do in your free time? Did you have any free time?
I didn't have any free time. You always had plenty of work to do. Cut firewood for the kitchen stove, and cut wood for the heat stove. And you didn't have any chainsaw, you cut it with an hacksaw, handsaw.
Now, did you have to help take care of a lot of stuff around the house with the younger kids?
Oh no, well, we all grew up. We worked in the garden and worked the corn and all that. And, we kept busy.
Did you go to church when you were a kid?
Huh?
Did you go to church when you were a kid?
A little kid, yeah. And I went to work for Buck Presley, taking care of chickens. He had 3,000 chickens. And so I went to work for him. When I was, I guess, about 12 years old, got 10 cents an hour. And I did that until, and then I went to work for Harry Wolf. He had a lot of chickens too, so. And then when I went to work at, I guess it must have been 42, no, 42, 40, 41. I went to work at the Department of Agriculture at Beltsville and worked with the chickens up there too. So.
And then how long did you stay there when you?
Well, I got drafted, and I left January the 1st of 43. And so that's when I went in the Army. So.
And how long were you in the Army?
I was only in there 8 months. I had bad eyes then, so and so they what they call limited service. And then they stopped turning them loose, so I went back home. Of course, they moved to Virginia by then.
And then what'd you do?
I went to work at, worked at a sawmill for a while. And then I went to work at Sweetser's feed warehouse in Fredericksburg.
Now, is that where you were loading the boxcars up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, tell back about when you were loading the feed on there.
Well, we unloaded and loaded 13 carloads of feed in 1 week.
And,
2 of us.
and how big were the bags? How many did you
100 pound.
carry about 1 bag at a time?
No, we had a push cart. We pushed them on into the warehouse, stacked them up. Then we had loose grain, and then we had hay. The hay was 160 pounds a bale, 150. It was Western hay, 3-wire bales. So then I come up to D.C. and drove the cement mixer for a little while until they went on strike. Then I went to work for International.
Now, how did you learn to work on trucks?
Well, I worked on my own stuff. I never had a car in a shop till I got where I couldn't see. So I went to work at International at 65 cents an hour. And top wages in the shop was $1 and a nickel an hour. And the labor to the customer for the customer work on customers' trucks was $2.90 an hour. That was in 45.
What's it now, you know?
110.
Do you know of anyone that sort of ran off from home to like go ride the railroad and stuff?
What?
Do you know of anyone that ran away from home to go ride the railroad to become hobos?
What'd she say?
Like a hobo. Did anybody leave home to go ride the rails?
No.
What was one of the most scandalous that you can think of?
I don't know.
Well, how about Uncle Pat marrying?
Oh, well, was his cousin? Yeah, they had a fit about that, some people. Oh,
Now, where was Lois from?
from Fredericksburg. Wildecroft was like a small community, I guess you'd call it.
Right.
You know, a lot of people called it Wildecroft, other people called it Wildecroft. But the houses were scattered around. I mean, you know, places had 4 or 5 acres, 3 acres, and stuff like that.
Right.
Did anybody around you have to sell their farms and houses and stuff in order to be fed and have money and stuff?
Well, if people were poor, there was no such thing as Social Security or anything like that then. There was no, if you were out of work, you didn't make any money. So you just had to do with what you had to do. But most of your stuff, one time there, when Service Laundry went out of business, went bankrupt in the Depression, they moved out of that, and then we moved into the house up there that they built for them, and there was didn't have any sheetrock in it, no plumbing, and all it was black paper. And then the weatherboarding on the outside of it, and that was it.
Where was that house?
Yeah, in Wildecroft. It's still there.
Oh, the one on the left-hand side going up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still there.
I'll show you that sometime back. It was green for a long time.
It burnt out there one time.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mom's family lived up on across the hill, right?
Yeah, on the opposite side of the road, up the road just a little bit.
Yeah.
Did her family have a farm too, or
Huh?
did her family have a farm too, or did they have jobs working for the government or something?
No, most people, most people up there, they worked somewhere, you know, they worked for the government, worked at, I remember the filling stations, they paid $16 a week, and you worked 10 hours a day, and you worked 6 days a week.
For $16.
Now, did your family have any money in the bank or in stocks at all?
No.
So it didn't hit you as hard.
They didn't have nothing, really.
Now, how old were you when the Depression hit?
Well, see, the Depression started in 29, so I was 6 years old.
Okay.
So you didn't know life was any different, did you?
But when you, I remember we didn't have a nickel for what they call a pig in a blanket sale at school. It was a hot dog in a roasted in a rolled in dough, you know, and baked. But there wasn't any money to be had. I remember in 1942, I was working at Belshore, and I looked at 1,000 acres down in Appomattox, Virginia. And 1,000 acres down there, then I told a man I'd buy it if I didn't go in the Army. Of course, I went in the Army the next week. So, 1,000 acres, $1,000.
Wow.
And like this place here, in 1980 to 59 or 60, when I bought this, I paid I paid $250 down on it, and $35 a month on it, $5,600 for 101 acres. But nobody had anything. No, you didn't make any money either.
Now, what were any of the highlights or low parts of your life? The day I was born. The day I was born.
I just when the baby got killed and when your mother had that accident.
Yeah.
And then you were born 2 years later. That sums it up, I guess.
How about what your dad and your mother and father do for a living and stuff?
Well, Mom had, all she did was have kids and raise kids.
Yeah.
But Mom was raised in a home. Well, she went to, when her mother died when she was 8 years old, and then she had 4 sisters, and her father you couldn't get a job to keep them and keep anybody to pay people to take care of them. So she was in a home. You know, she married Dad when she was 17, I think. But
was your dad married a couple times?
yeah.
How was that?
Well, Reedy and Gordon, Reedy, and Edward were. His first wife died in the flu epidemic in 1918, I think.
Okay.
So that was.
And then he married your mother?
Yeah.
He's only married twice.
Huh?
He only was married twice?
Yeah.
And what did your dad die from?
Well, I guess Dad had a combination of asthma and heart problem. So,
And
See, Dad was 60. He would have been, say, 50. He would have been 61, and he was 60 when he died. Mom was 13 years younger than Dad. And Mom died in 1966.
And what did she die from?
Mom, what do they call it? Heart failure.
How about mom's parents? What did they do?
Well, I really didn't. I never knew because both of my grandmothers were dead when I was born. Because Heber died, and I think Heber died when they were 28 years old, both of them, or 29 or something. But Mom's father was. I never saw my grandparents. Maybe half a dozen times in my life. You know what I mean.
Now, where were they at? Where were they?
One lived in, Dad's father was in
Big Island?
Big Island, Virginia, which is down off the James River. And Mom's father was down in Orange.
Well, I don't guess she was too close to her father if he had to
Well,
put them in a
no, they weren't close.
orphanage.
They weren't that close, no. Well, you know, she never, he'd go see her on the weekend, but so that's the way that went.
Now, how about mom's family that lived up on across from you guys? What did they,
Well,
what was stuff like for them, and
I guess.
what her father do, and
Well, her father worked I think he worked at the Navy Yard for a while. He worked as a D.C. policeman, and he worked for the Times Herald newspaper in D.C. He was typesetter. And then he worked at Baltimore Sun when he died. So.
her mother just had babies too, didn't she?
Yeah, well, her mother never worked.
Well, how many kids did your mother have?
10.
And then how many kids did mom's mother have?
I think 10, I think. Let's see. It was, we'll start with Bill, Elizabeth, Gordon, Margaret, Rachel, it was Gladys Ruth, Bessie Jo, Jean, and then the little boy that got killed in the automobile accident. She had 10 or 11.
Sylvia.
And Sylvia, yeah.
What did you think of Franklin Roosevelt as a president? Because I know.
I thought he was good. Well, he did wonders for the country.
Did you think after a while he was just going to take over America?
No, I don't think so. But, you know, people don't realize, a lot of people that think that, think he was, would take over the country, but when you live back there, he started the WPA, he started all these places for people to get to make a living anyhow.
Right.
Did you guys have a radio in your house at all?
Huh?
Did you guys have a radio in your house at all?
Yeah, what?
A radio?
A radio?
Yeah, we had a radio I think we got a radio in 1932.
Did you listen to his fireside chats at all?
Oh, yeah. Everybody listened to Roosevelt, whatever.
What was your favorite program on the radio?
I don't know. and Andy, and we listened to George Burns and Gracie Allen, and so, of course, when we were little kids, we didn't have I guess I was almost 10 years old when we got the first radio.
And what do y'all think of World War II and Hitler and all that?
Well, everybody kept track of it. That's, I thought.
Did you know many people get killed or anything? Or?
Oh, well, I knew some. I knew a few from up there that never come home. Freddie Talbox, I went to school with. He went down with a submarine. They never did know what happened to him. And, so many people, when you went into service and they moved, and I lost track of everybody too.
Everybody, because you didn't go back home to the same neighborhood.
I didn't go back home to the same neighborhood. But it was, I think, at Wildcroft Community Center, I think they had a plaque that people went into service up there.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. That was drafted, went in there. And Bobby McDonald, he was a little older than I was, and he got captured in that death march in Baton, I think it was, where they marched them all. So many people died,
Where's this?
Huh?
That was in Japan, right?
Yeah, in Japan.
And they marched the prisoners so many miles, and very few of them, and
There's
a lot of them died.
Yeah.
And before they ever got to where they were going.
Yeah. But Bobby was never right after that, though.
So he survived it, but
He survived, but he was never. He never was quite right, after that.
Did you all know anything about like concentration camps while the war was going on?
I knew what they were, but I didn't know. All you do is read about them.
did you know about all the Jews that were being killed? When did you?
No, well, a lot of that come out after the war too. A lot of that. But they would put them in these death march. Camps and stuff. And they had a lot of slave labor. They worked them to death.
Now, did any of your friends go over to Europe and actually see the concentration camps at all?
No, I don't think so. No, unless Pat did, because Pat was over there when the war ended.
And he was in Korea too, wasn't he?
No, Nudie was in Korea.
Oh, okay. Now, Uncle Pat was he was in building bridges and stuff.
Yeah, Army engineers. He was in that.
And who else in your family was in them?
Tommy was in for a while. Duty
Where
was in.
And Duty was in Korea.
Yeah, Duty was in Korea.
How about Uncle Tommy?
He was in after the fighting was over.
Right.
Yeah.
Was everybody Army?
Well, yeah. Other than Marvin and Jimmy and them.
Right. What other questions you got back?
I don't know, I'm racking my brain.
Did you have a dog growing up? A favorite dog?
No, we had dogs. Always had dogs.
Yeah.
We had a dog we called Mouse.
Yeah. Well, that was the one that would bite people, wasn't it?
Yeah. She was the one Tommy set there on Shirley Marshall, and she bit Shirley. He turned her loose and sicked her on us. But
Tell back about the trick you played on the little ones when they were downstairs playing the game.
Oh, Pat and I was upstairs, and I guess it was Bernie and Tommy and Duty. They were all downstairs playing Monopoly. And Pat and I run a little bolt out on a string down to the window from upstairs and let it swing out and tap the window. And they first thing they all made a dash for the stairway, and they made a. And Pat, I called down and told them it ain't nothing out there. And so when they started playing there, they tapped it again. They all made a break for the upstairs door, and they slammed it in Duty's face. And the poor kid was scared to death. So that had to be 43. So.
Where was that at?
In Massaponax, Virginia. Yeah, that's where they moved from Maryland.
Now, how about when they thought something was under the covers on the bed?
Oh, that was Tommy jumped on the bed when I think it was the moon was shining through a tree, and it scared him to death. They thought the house was haunted anyhow. And all of a sudden he went and leaped on it. He thought one of the kids were under the bed and was nothing there. And scared him to death too. But I think it was the moon shining through the tree. But
was that the place in Spotsylvania?
Yeah, it's Spotsylvania, Massaponax. That's about it. The rest is history.
Oops. If you had anything to do any different in your life, would you do anything different?
I don't think so. Everything works out. Well, your hindsight, if your foresight was as good as your hindsight, you'd do a lot of things.
Yeah. What kind of cars did you have through your lifetime?
In my lifetime, I had a Model A Ford Roadster. I had a 34 Ford V8. Of course, they were old when I got them. I only paid $10 for the Model A Ford. But I drove it. I drove that car for a long time. Well, see,
How old were you when you started driving it?
16. I got it. I drove it till I went into service. And then I drove it a couple of years after I got out of service. I paid $10 for it.
How much did gas cost?
Huh?
How much did gas cost?
Well, like Esso and Amoco and all your brand names like that, it's 16 and 18 cents. Your regular gas was 16, that's what they call it straight, and high test. It was 16 and 18. I remember at Hyman Brown's in Bladensburg, he had the old pump. You've seen them, I guess you've seen them. you had a lever on the side, you pumped up, and you looked in the glass.
Yeah, real tall.
Yeah, and looked in the glass, see how many gallons you had. And then you'd put it in your vehicle.
Huh. I never knew how those worked, see.
It just pumped, it had a hand pump, it just pumped
Pumped it up and watched how many gallons were in there.
and watch how many gallons were in.
Gravity cut it back out.
And then gravity would put it in your gas tank.
Huh.
That was right there in Bladensburg, right down from Peace Cross. Almost across from, you know where George Washington House is?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right across from that, just about.
Huh.
Hyman Brown.
Now, how about any kind of natural disasters in the area, like when Peace Cross flooded?
Oh, that was the one. That was a heavy rain occurrence all the time.
Yeah.
Bladensburg flooded all the time.
Now, was it Dixie Pig there that?
Yeah, Dixie Pig got burnt down one time doing it.
What was the Dixie Pig?
It was a barbecue. They had it was more or less a beer joint as far as I was concerned. They sold drinks and beer,
Yeah.
and then they had a you could look at the barbecue and a pig right over the coals.
Yeah. Now let's look at one. How many times have you been in a beer joint?
Not too many times.
How many times have you been drunk?
Maybe once, twice. I don't want no more.
Never much on drinking, were you?
No.
Why did you get drunk those 1 or 2 times?
Huh?
Why'd you get drunk those 1 or 2 times?
But I never. You always try it out.
Did you have a hangover?
Well, I didn't know whether I was really drunk or not, but you felt bad the next day. I know that. But Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the world's worst place. They had more saloons up there than every other door was a saloon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
And how about racial stuff when you were growing up?
Huh?
Yeah.
How about racial
Like
stuff?
the Ku Klux Klan and stuff. And
Oh, it wasn't. You know, the black stayed. Black stayed in at their place, and you never heard much about it. I remember when I went to work at International, I was all over that town, all times of nights and daytime and everything else on road jobs and stuff, and they never bothered me at all. I can truthfully say that.
Do you know of anybody that was like in the Ku Klux Klan at all?
No, I've heard of it, but yeah, most of your Ku Klux Klan was further south. You know what I mean? It was down Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and stuff like that.
What do you think of people lynching blacks?
Huh?
What do you think of people like lynching blacks and stuff like that?
Drink and drive?
No, people that lynched blacks, like hung.
Oh, I think it was dead wrong.
Did you hear about it often?
Huh?
Did you hear about it often?
You didn't. You read it in the paper. But it wasn't any of that up there too much. See, but I went to school all my time. Growing up, I guess a good majority I was in Maryland.
Let's make sure I'm still running. How about other stuff where they with Italians and Jews and all the different.
Well, of course, up there, they had a colored section up in Willowcroft. They called it Nigger Town. And, but it was all blacks up there. But,
Now, when Martin Luther King got killed and they had the riots in D.C. and stuff, that's pretty close to where we live.
oh yeah. Well, that was right, because I was working right down on Bladensburg Road, 901 Bladensburg Road, right down almost to 15th and 8th Street.
Right.
When that happened.
What are some of the stories there? Do you have any?
Well, I saw a lot of damage it did, but I run road jobs all the time, even up when but they never, nobody ever bothered me. Because I worked in D.C. all the time then.
Have you ever seen any like famous people in your life?
Huh?
Have you ever seen any famous people in your life?
What'd you say?
Have you ever seen any famous people?
No. Not really. I'm not much for looking for famous people either.
How many girlfriends did you have?
2 or 3, that's all.
Yeah.
I never had too much money.
Needed money to have a girlfriend?
Well, yes, you do. When you always give mine, help them out at the house, and so whatever. But I usually worked. A lot of times I worked 16 hours a day, years.
Every day?
7 days a week sometimes. Well, when I was a kid, even working for Buck Presley, I'd go over and feed the chickens and stuff, and I'd go over there at 5 o'clock in the morning and feed, and then I'd go to school, and then when I got out of school, I'd go back, and sometimes I'd get home 10 o'clock at night, because on account of he had a hatchery along with it, and we took care of the hatchery and the baby and everything like that. So, canned eggs, pack them in crates, kill chickens.
What kind of grades do you get in school?
That kind of 4 grades. Like you saw what grades I got, didn't you, Ron?
Yeah.
Like you?
Right, like me.
I could do when I wanted to.
Yeah. So back killing chickens. How do you kill them?
Oh, when we killed them over there, you open the mouth and it had a little curved knife that you cut a vein in the top of the throat and the top of the beak, and then you'd leave the head, and you'd pick them and leave it. When you sold chickens in, all you did was pick them and clean them. You didn't clean the insides or nothing like that. And they'd throw them in a barrel of ice water, and then they'd deliver them. And when you went to the butcher, the store, they'd pick out the chicken they wanted, and they'd cut the heads off and feet and clean them. And that's the way you got your chicken. You picked out the chicken you wanted.
Just a dead featherless chicken, huh? That was it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think really, they put them in ice water. you know, they probably gain a half a pound, you know, on account of filling up with water.
Right. Now, and then other stuff you did, you wring their necks. And wring their necks. And
oh yeah, a lot of times a lot of people ring, but I usually you step on the feet and catch hold of the head and cut it over the butcher knife. But when you kill them for the whatchamacallit, you just hung them up by the feet and see, because Buck Presley, he sold chickens to the store.
did you ever do any hunting at all?
No, I never enjoyed hunting. I never enjoyed killing. I got so I didn't even want to kill a chicken or a pig.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was never no hunter. And the older I get, the worse I get.
That's about it. That's all the questions I had.
Huh?
Says about it. All the questions I had. That's all your questions?
I think so. I hope we think of something else.
Okay, now look at these pipes downstairs.